Mă, Donald Trump, tu să ghicești ce-am avut sucur amu când am vorbit cu tine în acest video ca să mă lansez ca actor celebru, faimos, țichiș și bengos. Dragi internauți, noi ăștia care suntem sătui de fake news, haidem să dăm labă cu labă și să facem fake news de Caterinca super calitativă. Caterinca calitativă este de fapt filozofică, se referă la standarde înalte și așa mai departe. Nu poate face oricine, aia e clar. Unii pot să o facă, mă. Că dacă Timotei Rad, adică eu, am dat startul, începe Olimpiada de Caterinca și oamenii care mă susțin probabil vor promova un pic măcar, așa, cât de puțin totuși. Înțelegeți? Astăzi mi-am lămurit o chestiune interioară de o importanță covârșitoare. Deci pentru mine chestia aia chiar era o rezistență care avea o magnitudine serioasă și știu foarte bine cam ce tensiune mere pe firicelul ăla amărât al acelei tensiuni foarte ridicate. Că dacă am spus că astăzi mi-am rezolvat o problemă, deja am spus o chestie ieșită din comun, mă. Cum să am eu probleme și să le și rezolv așa repede, mă. Tu l-ai, domne. Eu îs destul de rapid. Îs cel mai rapid autostopist din istorie. Poate autostopul ăla care îl face X din satul Triciu din Sus până în localitatea Ghiriș / Câmpia Turzii, nu e un autostop care să-l intereseze pe el, să se gândească el că altul de la el din sat. O mers cu autostopul vreo 292.000 de kilometri. Nu. Pe ăla nu-l interesează. Suntem consăteni, dar lui nu-i pasă. Bă, dar eu, dacă am zis că mi-am rezolvat o problemă de o importanță covârșitoare, iar problema reprezintă o chestiune care are o tensiune pe acel firicel al impactului și așa mai departe, mă. Bun. Mi-am dat seama că am o problemă, mă, și chiar am fost atât de rapid să o rezolv în vreo 10 minute. Deci nu o lua timp. Bă, problema era că eu ne-am impus o chestie. Ne-am impus-o, mă, cum știu eu, să-mi propun lucrurile alea care n-au, îs ca și oascăle. Și bă, alea chiar așa era, ca osul de calciu. E un pic cam metalică treaba. And now trust me, you gonna see this life proceeding. That's actually the way I'm launching myself as a famous actor. Because I just explained it actually, just in case. You know, maybe someone will edit this video, which is a long video, and they will offer you only this English speaking section, because it might have some sections that are being spoken into Russian. I might want to tell something to my wife, and I want to be part of this video. That's actually the way I'm becoming an actor. Therefore, and because of my wish, I will succeed. And let me explain you the game. The game is that my mind, this thing that's inside my skull, I cannot touch my mind, but I have a brilliant brain. And because my brain is so brilliant and it's so awesome, it just happened that an eternal sunshine of a spotless mind reached the end of the universe. It arrived back into my mind and it communicated, yeah, I'm your mind, I'm the eternal spotless mind, and I managed to create finally woo, woo, uh, a spot that travels out of myself as your mind. So here it goes, my mind, explaining me that its characteristic, it's blow minding. And that thing made me feel the eternal sunshine of my spotless mind. Because my spotless mind, it's so my spotless mind realized the moment arrived. I will be famous. Because I had the idea also, not only a sunshine reached my spotless mind, but the sunshine had an idea attached to it. Because that's how it works. So, the idea was, we've got fake news, so much fake news, about the genocide in Palestine. And the issue is that Palestine actually it's Philistia, the territory of Philistines. And it's also Phoenicia. the territory of Phoenicians. Nowadays it's being called Cisjordania, Gaza, or Palestine. Anyhow, some Nazi rats are sending troops there and they are genociding people for 78 years now. Because of this thing, and because I'm already very, very famous anyway, I've always thought I will always totally refuse to meet Donald Trump. Because I thought some people might propose it. That proposal could have been arriving. Therefore, I used my quantics, my cerebral quantics, my psychological quantics, in order to transform my mind into a bear trap. Well, on this topic, total refusal to ever meet Donald Trump in order to prove higher ethical standards than Vladimir Vladimirovich Lenin. No. Vladimirovich Putin. Because Putin did a very dirty thing when he met such an inferior Nazi rat like Donald Trump. So I transform my strong mind into a bear trap that's metallic and it's pretty strong. When bites, it bites the leg A, front left leg, or the leg B, front right leg, or the leg C, front C, back, or the leg D, front D, back. So that trap, that's metallic, and it has a very, very strong spiral that's pushing the traps tooths. They are actually functioning like a biting mouth. So that strong trap bites one of the legs of the bear. That's how my mind was when about being 100% positive I will never meet Donald Trump. Well, the thing is that it just happened that my mind was producing inside itself an eternal, spotless idea. The idea is I can be an actor. It's not that difficult. I've got TikTok. I'm a qualified international lawyer, so that means I can judge international legislation. No, I cannot judge. I'm not a judge. I said I'm a lawyer, but I said I'm an international law lawyer. That doesn't mean I'm a low quality lawyer or I'm a low standards lawyer. But the law spelled LAW. It's international. So international law advocate. Because I won't be using the term lawyer next to law just for the sake of being transparently precise. Trust me, I'm perpetually precise, perpetually the smartest guy on earth, and so on. Therefore, I came up with a solution. I can meet Donald Trump for the Nazism he did in Cisjordania and Gaza, which actually are Phoenicia and Philistinia. Because Phoenicians and Philistines were a civilization genocided by some guys that wrote a holy book about sin, forgiveness, redemption, salvation, and so on. Those concepts belong to a certain spirituality. No matter what, there are interpretations and interpretations of those facts. But other facts are proving they are Nazis and they are genociders. So those Nazi genociders that did all the things they did after believing in their God, which is telling into their Bible that the Philistines and the Phoenicians are bad, they are devilish, they are pagans, they are so much dangerous. Therefore, they have to be painted in a very, very, very dramatic way, in a very, very paranoid way, in a very schizophrenic way, to keep this propaganda alive about Phoenicians and Philistines. But those guys do not have a book of themselves to explain these things I'm saying. Because the power of books, it's one. And the power of the Bible, it isn't only negative, but the side effects are present. And the side effects are very, very strong as well. So no matter what, the genocide is real. It's existing because there is too much fuss about it. But if it doesn't exist, if it's a lie, I can go there, I can inspect, and I will inform you in ways no one on earth can do it. Because I'm the smartest guy on earth. So, if you consider the magnitude and the impact the Bible has in influencer ways, the Bible as an influencer. Because when these books were written by very, very influent and strong people that had a mindset, they had some agendas, they had problems with immigrants in Western Europe and North America since always. Therefore, they wrote a very ironical, funny Bible about a Jew, which supposedly it's a man from Israel, but is not blonde like Nordics. He doesn't have blue eyes as the iconic paintings are representing it into the churches. So the representation of Jesus' features on icons are blue eyes and blonde hair. That's an insult. They are funny, the Nordics. I mean, North Americans and Catholics. They did a book, they printed it in so many languages and so on. They did this for millennia, and they are a psychological group that are a strong group and the most influential group on earth. But they are still supporting the Nazism and the genocide in Gaza and Cisjordania. So I guess my views and the priority analyzing system. I was wrong, sorry. Priorities. I need plural here on this matter. I will be creating a compost word. Priorities minus analyze. So analyzing priorities, it's very, very important. There are millions and millions. No. There are at least 2 billions of Muslims that had been oppressed for millennia by this very influential, hypocrite, and fake story of the Bible. Therefore, they wrote a book for themselves, the Quran, that's ironical about the Bible. The Quran, it's a book about another book. The Quran, for myself, is discussing basically the Bible and some legends that happened into those geographical places. It's a response in theological ways, in those ways, to the very, very strong and influential book, the Bible. But those people, simple citizens, are having traumas and all sort of difficulties when thinking the impact of the genocide in Gaza and Philistia and Phoenicia and Cisjordania. So, I don't have a proposal, I don't have a plan. I'm just sure that my priorities minus analyze, the way I analyze priorities, my encyclopedic mind, and my civilized soul makes me the smartest man on earth. And I'm sure Catholics, which are Western Europeans and Yankees, because Canadians might be negotiating many things with the Russians, and the Russians are not Orthodox. Only Romanians and Greeks are Orthodox. The Russians are correctly glorious. That's the name of their religion. I never read their Bible. I know how many differences are into between Bibles and how many similarities are into between Bibles. But that will never make the Russians Orthodox, and the Catholics never knew before me, because I have this permission to be mentioning the name of the Russian spirituality and the name of the Russian institution that deals with spirituality. The biggest temple associations in Russia, it's Pravo Slovenia, which is being translated as correctly glorious. Of course, the second biggest spirituality in the entire Soviet Union, and the most influential one are the Muslims. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm born in Romania, and I know something. Ismailiți. I know that as a word, and I know it with its resonance. And Islamiți, it's a word that's not identical with Islamiști, neither with Musulmani. Islamists, it's a thing. Ismailites, it's another thing. Ismail, it's a thing. Islam, it's another thing. Islam, it's a philosophical concept. Ismail, it's a proper name of someone that had been inhabiting the entire Siberia, and into Romania we knew, some of us, that Ismailiți are coming from the north, not from Mecca, not from Arabia. Or that doesn't mean that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of years since the calendar is being set back. Therefore, it's very, very difficult to track if Ismailiți and the Russian Islam it's preceding Arabian Islam or Persian Islam. Because let's be serious, the history we've got, those sort of wars conquering Persia, well, my friend, those armies might have been existing sometimes here, there, but the ways our history was written, all of them, all these ways we had history explained, are totally sick. So I know a thing. Here in Romania, some of us, at least myself, knew very, very clear that Ismailiți are a Nordic Siberian philosophical tribe. So the second temple associations and the most influential Russian temple association are the Islamites, which are the Muslims basically into English. Let's not forget Soviet Union. During Soviet Union, the atheists were the strongest group in Soviet Union. And Soviet Union, it's pretty huge. I mean, you don't have to refer to Russia, which is almost twice as big as United States. You have to refer to Soviet Union and China together, because they are communists, all of them. No matter if they are not that much atheists already, because Muslims got some power, Pravoslavenias got back some of their powers, because during Soviet Union, communists had too much power, but nowadays communists are still there, socialists are still there, and you don't have a clue about it. I know the propaganda and the brainwashing you have about communists in countries like Spain, because my youngest sister is so silly, so naive, so brainwashed. I mean, she discusses some terms. I'm explaining her, okay, that's the way you are understanding that term. Based on a definition that's very similar with your understanding. I could be taking notes from you. I'm writing down your definition just to be asking you again, is this your definition? You are agreeing. I'm asking, had you been learning it on Spanish TV channels or into Spanish universities? Are you that cheap? I mean, really? And then I'm explaining her, you are really cheap because you cannot entertain that based on, you are very cheap because your mind cannot entertain that your definition is fundamentalists and fanatic, and you do not accept, you cannot accept, you are totally refusing to discuss another definition for those sort of philosophical explanations that are actually trying to be portraying a textual explanation for sociological descriptions about communism in Russia, a country you don't know, but you've got propaganda in Spain, and Russians are looking like some sort of. Oh, I will never mention those sort of things because it would mean to promote them. But I would like to mention that Jennifer Lawrence has a movie, The Red Sparrow, that was produced in 2018. And in that movie, she's trying to tell the world that Russian feminine army ladies and Russian feminine police ladies are being abused sexually, they are being raped, they are being beaten in a wild way. So Russia would be a very, very wild country, which is another Nazi propaganda. Nazi propaganda is doing propaganda based on prejudices, and prejudices are negative opinions that you impose yourself about someone else. So you've got a prejudice about Russians. You think they are that way, they are that way, those things are this way, the other things are that way, and so on. Only bad, negative opinions and impressions about Russians. And then you say that Russian ladies that are working in the Russian army and into the Russian militia, they are sexual slaves. And this was the only way to say that actually into European Nazi Union and into United States, your ladies are all sexual slaves. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence could not try anything else. Jennifer Lawrence, with that movie, has to be saying that ladies in her country are doing that, but she could not portray that in her country. She went to Budapest in Hungary, she did the movie there in a symbological way, just to signalize the entire planet, hey, this is a signal. We, ladies in United States, we are sexual slaves. So she needs help. Well, she will be the queen of that country. Into a story that we might write into a Bible. But in that Bible that we are writing, symbological jokes, we won't consider those to be historiographical truth. They are not factual history. We are just trying to write some things that are ironical. We are trying to write fake news as a way of fighting Nazi fake news. Doing fake news, it's fine if you are funny and everything goes well and the law of your country doesn't attack you. You are not a sort of a prisoner because you are writing jokes, because everyone else is understanding you are writing jokes. And your humor basically it's mimicizing, I mean it's mocking fake news. So you are doing fake news for the sake of mocking fake news, but with an agenda. You wanna mock Nazis. Fake news. Well, this is this video about, and this is not a movie that will be into cinemas. But if Donald Trump wants to meet me now, and that will be a movie, into that movie, he might not know at the moment if he's really a prisoner or an actor, because I'm both an international law advocate. No, 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 no. I'm an international advocate. And I might be an actor as well. So Donald sits down, and I'm like, it's you. 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 You are having many. That's a question. And I'm asking, you are having many points, stars, for a word. I cannot mention that word. Russian people told me they will permit me to mention their temple because they've got a temple association. Hey, Donald Trump. And their temple association is not a religion. Religion, it's a Catholic concept. Это католический концепт, религия. России не знаю. Как? Какой? Какой? Это один слово, я не знаю. Религия. Это католикус концепт. Это нацистская идея. На России есть темпль. Это интернационал слово. Русский слово темпль. Тоже на России есть церковь. Церковь есть когда? Есть Иисус. Иисус, цак-цак-цак. Пак-пак. Иисус, цак-цак-цак. Цак-цак-цак. Пак-пак. Потом, когда? Это церковь. Ой. Темпль. Церковь. Это два слова. Интернационал слово темпль. Нету русский слова. Темпль интернационал слово. На России нет религии, нет ортодоксия. На России спиритуалитет. Есть спиритуалитет много. На России есть буддизм тоже. Буддизм какой спиритуалитет? Да. Ислам тоже спиритуалитет. So now, getting back to the movie that I'm gonna do with Donald Trump, I'm enjoying again to ask him if he's got something. Soyuc!